The techniques used for evaluating the projects quantify the return or value that an option will provide, which are conducted during a cost-benefit analysis. Organizational standards might dictate, in part, which valuation technique is prioritized. But one common mistake newer business analysts make is trying to use all of the common techniques at once to gold-plate their analysis. Each valuation technique demands a good amount of time and effort. A better tactic is to zoom in on those valuation results that our stakeholders are eagerly waiting to see in order to make decisions. Another trap that's easy to fall into for newer business analysts, manipulating the numbers into a financially feasible scenario in order to push for project approval. That will come back around to bite you once the product has been implemented and you are evaluating the actual results. Even with a successful product, stakeholders won't be happy with sky-high expectations that were never translated into actual business results. Steering clear of overblown expectations is imperative to avoiding those sorts of negative surprises. And that's made easier by basing valuations on hard data and verifying numbers when possible with subject matter experts. There are some valuation techniques. Internal rate of return. Incorporating both initial and ongoing costs, this technique is a projected annual yield of an investment. This value signifies the internal rate at which the net present value of all the cash flows will equal zero. Internal rate of return makes more sense as a valuation technique when there is a known and certain rate of return the project or product must comply with in order to get approved. Because internal rate of return is a measure of return to cost, the higher the internal rate of return, the higher the return a solution option is expected to deliver. Net present value. This technique shows the future value of expected benefits expressed in the value that those benefits have at the time of investment. It's a helpful tool for figuring out whether more value could be obtained through investing in financial instruments as opposed to a portfolio component, program, or project. Payback periods. The time needed to recover an investment tends to be more suitable for small investment projects in which sophisticated economic analysis is not worth the time and effort. Payback period is a relatively straightforward calculation, typically expressed in months or years. Payback period makes the most sense as a valuation technique when we have a known time frame for a product to be effective or the liquidity risk is a major factor for the organization. The higher the payback period value, the higher the risk for the organization. Return on investment. An estimate of probability, this is calculated by taking the total projected net benefits and dividing them by the cost of the investment. To make this technique most accurate and helpful, it's recommended to include both direct and indirect costs in the calculations.